Whether you loved it or hated it, you have to admit that The Blair Witch Project was one of the most buzzed about movies of all time. Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2 is also a movie. Then 16 years later, which is right in that sweet spot of movie sequels, we get Blair Witch. Blair Witch is mercifully short though, clocking in at only 90 minutes, including credits. So it's not as devastating as it could have been, but you definitely feel that entire runtime. And Blair Witch has the dubious distinction of being one of the loudest movies I have ever seen. It relies heavily on jump scares. And it worked. I jumped a lot. Because these are the loudest f***ing sound effects imaginable. The setup for Blair Witch is that a newly found video was discovered in the Black Hills and uploaded to YouTube. Our hero James is the brother of Heather, the documentarian that went missing in the Blair Witch Project, and he believes that the footage shows his sister Heather and he thinks she may still be alive. You know, maybe the Blair Witch has just been chasing her around this house for 2 decades, scaring her and pushing her down like some kind of Blair bitch. Ah, that is sparkling wordplay. So James and his friends travel to Burkittsville to discover once and for all what happened to his sister. They meet up with Lane and Talia, who were the ones that found the tape, and they agree to show them where they found it, but only if they can tag along.
I saw some of your other videos. So this one, it was really interesting where you guys found this little pile of rocks.
Okay, you're actually not allowed to make fun of anyone's YouTube videos? I read that somewhere.
I'm not trespassing or anything, right?
No one cares. No one living is.
Again, you were out in the middle of nowhere with this creepy stranger. I mean, have you not seen literally any horror movie that takes place in the woods? And there's a lot of mythology around the Blair Witch, and it could be fascinating if the movies would ever expand upon the same 3 stories that it always hashes out.
Rustin Parr.
That guy you heard the voices to kill, right?
Yeah, 7 little kids were.
Back in the 1940s, Rustin Parr brought 8 kids out to his house in these woods.
He took the kids down in the basement by 2s, and he made one face into the corner.
Coffin Rock.
Coffin Rock. Those guys that were murdered there. After they were gutted, their heads were arranged in the shape of a pentagram.
The intestines had been torn out crudely, each man's hands bound to the next man's feet, forming a solid structure out of the men.
The Blair Witch. Who was she really?
Communing with Ellie Kedward.
The Blair Witch?
They dragged her out into the woods in the middle of winter and tied her to a tree to die.
Townspeople took her out to these woods, tied her to a tree, and left her to die of exposure.
This area has a history of things happening that no one really likes to talk about.
According to the first 2 movies, the history of that area is literally all the townsfolk talk about. As they're crossing a haunted stream, Ashley cuts her foot on a rock, and the Blair Witch claims her first victim. The group has a number of cameras, including a camera attached to a drone, which could provide some interesting and scary shots. I say it could provide some interesting and scary shots. But it doesn't. So, let's never speak of it again. James wakes up in the middle of the night and hears a lot of Okay. Unnecessary. Everyone wakes up and Lane is missing. They yell for him, but he doesn't respond.
Lane!
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 Sounds can travel pretty far out here.
Except when we needed to not travel at all. So James follows Talia into the woods to look for Lane, and if I was a serial killer, this would be like shooting fish in a barrel. It's the classic divide and conquer scenario. Talia lures one male into the woods and then murders him, while Lane doubles back and first kills Peter and then Lisa. You would let Ashley kind of hobble away so that you could hunt her for sport? Again, that would be if I was a serial killer. If I am not. I feel like I cannot overstep. Holy hell! Did you not hear them yelling for you? Could you not have alerted them some other way? God, that was so loud. They wake up to find that they all slept until 2 in the afternoon and there are Blair Witch sticks hanging all around the camp. They notice that Lane's camera uses the same type of tapes as the one they supposedly found and posted online. And they find out that they were the ones who made the stick figures, and sure, Lane and Talia have been acting weird and are definitely up to something, but how do you fake having everyone sleep until 2 in the afternoon?
Oh, we know you guys put sleeping pills in our water or something.
Oh, yeah, good point. So, really, up to this point, all 3 movies have planted the seed that the Blair Witch legend is just that, a legend. I mean, weird stuff has happened, but basically everything can be explained in a very matter-of-fact way. So they make Lane and Talia leave, but it's revealed that they don't know how to get back because they've never been this far out. James and the gang walk all day but somehow end up back at the same camp. And they have to stay another night. What? What the hell was that? Was that her foot making that god-awful noise?
You got
Oh, what is with that sound? I mean, is it her bones snapping? What the actual crap? She didn't even put any weight on it that time. You know, when they made Jurassic Park, they needed to come up with a sound effect for the T-Rex roar, and they studied a number of animals and mixed them together and created such an awesome effect. When the producers of Blair Witch needed a sound effect for the witch infecting a cut, they decided to just break a bunny rabbit's back and just crank the volume to max, apparently. Peter goes out to look for firewood, and he for some reason goes super far away. Like so far away that when he's screaming for help, no one hears him as he's dragged away by something. Lane and Talia stumble into camp claiming that they've been wandering the woods for 5 days and that the sun won't come up.
Talia, please, you want to stay here, you go ahead. Go ahead, don't! These people are gonna die. They're gonna be here forever.
The gang doesn't seem as fazed by this as they should be. Let's say you don't believe in the Blair Witch at all. You now have 2 people that you just met telling you that you're going to die. Have some situational awareness. So they naturally just fall asleep and wake up in the morning/eternal night. The camp is again surrounded by rocks and Blair Witch stick figures, and everyone just starts to lose it, but everybody just needs to calm down. I'm sure there's a rational— oh my god! Oh, okay, there is no ambiguity anymore. This is real. The legend of the Blair Witch is real. What the hell is going on? Run, bitch! Now that everyone is thoroughly separated, James and Lisa finally stumble upon Rustin Parr's house, and things start to get interesting. Kind of. James thinks he sees Heather inside, and as he's going through, we see all sorts of things that may or may not actually be there. Lisa, on the other hand, goes to the basement and comes across a very real and very 5 years older Lane. So there's definitely something weird going on with the timeline in these woods. Not sure if James and Lisa time traveled forward 5 years, or if Lane time traveled back after being lost for 5 years. And to all the people that were pissed that the first 2 movies never showed anything, here you go. Here's your prize, you big weirdos. And as Lisa's running through the house, we finally realize that the tape that Lane found and uploaded to YouTube was of Lisa running through the house right now. And now, I don't know what to think about the timeline. You know, it would have been cool if they time traveled right after Mike and Heather got killed, and that Lane is the one that killed them. Oh man, they should have done that. Well, too late. So the Blair Witch Kool-Aid Man's her way into the attic, and James and Lisa make the bold choice to stand on the corner because they were told that if you see her, you will die of fright.
Lisa, I'm so sorry.
Man, that family sure did produce a lot of criers, am I right? I mean, oh, he's dead. And I will say that Lisa's acting during this whole scene is very good. So good that I feel she may have actually been in danger. And she turns around and she gets killed. Movie's over. So that is the end of the Blair Witch saga. For now. Started off strong and, kind of petered out during the last 16 years there. But I don't know, there's talk of a Blair Witch TV show, so maybe we'll learn more of the backstory behind Rustin Parr, Coffin Rock, stick figures, Rustin Parr, rock piles, Coffin Rock.